Travel hasn't seen any meaningful innovation in 10 to 15 years. We plan to completely disrupt travel.
I recently discovered this awesome new company that wants to disrupt the travel industry, and I met them at a D10E conference in Kyiv. And what first struck me about this company was how many major airlines are already on board. It's actually incredibly impressive. They have the Lufthansa group, which includes a bunch of different airlines. They have the Swiss airline and New Zealand, Austrian, Brussels airline, Eurowings, Nordic Choice as well. So all these people have discovered this company and want to get on board because what they're doing is incredibly exciting. I invited onto the show today Pedro Anderson, who is the COO and the founder of a company called WindingTree. Pedro, welcome to the show. Can you tell me, what is WindingTree?
WindingTree is a marketplace for travel. It's a business-to-business marketplace where suppliers, hotels and airlines, for example, can list their inventory, rooms and flight seats and so on, for innovators and travel agents to be able to access that inventory without having to go through an intermediary who would charge high fees or choose what inventory you have access to or whether you can have access, period.
You guys put together a great video that explains how your platform works.
On the surface, the travel industry looks super competitive with lots of companies fighting for your business. But your favorite travel website has a hidden secret. Everything they're selling comes from just a few middlemen companies, and they are taking a huge chunk of the profit. But there's a better way. Introducing WindingTree, the travel industry's open blockchain platform for booking and securing transactions without intermediaries.
What we're doing is we're saying we'll take every airline, every hotel that integrates with us, and we'll make all of our inventory available to any innovator, any travel startup that's creating a new way, like a personal travel agent bot, any travel agent person that wants to access inventory and sell, any corporate client that does millions of dollars of travel every year and pays 25% commission fees just because that intermediary pulls that inventory from those travel companies directly and makes it available to them, right?
Right.
And we're saying we're going to make that available to everybody at no charge.
By breaking the currently concentrated distribution landscape, innovative new companies can bring their ideas to market. An API which can be integrated into any POS system, making it easy for anyone to list and find inventory.
We create a new revenue source for them to where they have some revenue that's coming not from the current intermediaries that are taking the high fees, but from innovators and other travel agents. Most travel technology experts agree that the travel industry is 10 to 15 years behind, and a great deal of that is a result of stagnation from a monopolized, centralized distribution space with a handful of companies dominating completely and charging high fees and preventing innovation from the outside. And they don't have very much incentive to innovate from the inside because they already dominate. So if you poll any number of travel startups and you ask them what's the number one challenge they've had to innovating in travel, they'll tell you that sourcing inventory is the hardest part, right? And so what we want to do is completely eliminate those barriers to entry, allow for any innovator to be able to access that inventory and start creating new ways of selling travel, new ways of catering to travel needs without having to go through an intermediary that takes high fees and is ultimately competing with them.
What first inspired you to create WindingTree? You're one of the founders, so was it just that you looked at the airline industry and you saw a severe lack of innovation there?
It all started with two of my co-founders, Yakov Vysoky and Maxim Ismailov. They actually ran a startup out of Y Combinator, and they experienced firsthand the challenges of innovating in travel, that even though they had all the right ingredients, it was very hard to source inventory. And once they did, by pulling teeth, leveraging their connections and investors and so on, they realized that the technology would only be as good as the legacy systems that were built on top of. So as long as you depended on an old, archaic intermediary, your technology would only be as good as what it was built on top of. And that had to change.
You guys are a decentralized company. Why is that important or valuable?
So it's important for that very reason that If we had a central body or investors who had some form of control over the platform, it creates a conflict of interest. It's a misalignment of incentives. So what's good for a monopoly of intermediaries is not really good for the end consumer. It's not good for the supplier. They want to milk out as much money as they want on every little action possible, from queries to their databases to transactions, whatever they can. They just want to milk that. So tokenization allows us to create incentives of all parties around the same thing. The travel suppliers want to increase the relevance of the platform. The innovators and points of sale, they want to increase the relevance of the platform because they want more inventory, right? And so it's win-win for everybody. Nobody has control to choose which company gets which placement, which is a model commonly used by intermediaries. If your company isn't giving me enough money, I will put you down at the bottom. I won't make you as readily available. You have ways that you can manipulate the market when you're a centralized body, right? But when the smart contracts or the marketplace runs on a public blockchain, whatever rules we set in place from the start will remain that way. It's a living organism that we're setting free in the world of blockchain. And that's really what drives us at WindingTree is the open data and permissionless innovation.
Do you think that that's going to help revolutionize travel?
I think it will completely transform travel and create an open market where everyone can really compete. And I think competition ultimately is better for everyone.
You've got some great advisors on board, so tell me a little bit about their backgrounds and expertise.
We've chosen advisors who come from the travel industry and really focused on industry experts. For example, Bill Niatlik, he was one of the co-founders and CTO of Vyama, which sold for $500 million, and also invested in a number of crypto projects. He's a crypto investor. And Norm Rose, who is one of the most respected people in the travel space. He advises governments and corporations on travel. And then also Manuel Arauz from the blockchain side. He's one of the founders of Zeppelin, real brilliant guy from a technical side of blockchain.
Why is blockchain and crypto important to you?
For me, it's the disintermediation, the removal of the need for somebody in the middle to call the shots and play judge or play God or whatever you want to call it. Really, the immutability and decentralization for me, it's everything for me now. We're starting with airlines and hotels, but we will eventually branch out to other areas of travel to encompass all of travel, and eventually car rentals, tours and activities, so that you can actually bundle travel together effectively.
You've got lots of major companies, airlines in particular, who are on board and partnered with WindingTree now. So the future looks pretty exciting for you guys.
Yeah. We're hoping to have more partnerships every day, and that's really what we're working at right now, day and night, and trying to make the ideal developer experience to where it'll be as quick and easy as possible, with as little friction as possible for partners to get on board, to make it really the internet for travel. We're doing something really incredible here, and we're only just scratching the surface. We have some partners on board, but you're essentially laying one of the foundation stones of what's going to be the future of travel. And it's a $7 trillion industry. So it's a big change in the world. I would compare it very much to the entrance of the internet or of Linux. What we're doing is facilitating innovation. We're allowing for startups to build in travel and to do it freely and supporting them through it and giving them all the tools to do it. And at the same time, lowering the cost of travel. So what more could you ask for in travel?
Well, that sounds great. I would definitely like to travel more cheaply. You guys have an ICO coming up on February 1st. Where can people go to find out more information about that?
Yeah, our ICO is coming up on February 1st, running through February 15th. Come onto our site. We'll have instructions posted very soon on how you can participate for those who haven't participated. And join us on the social channels. You can join us on Rocket Chat, Telegram, Twitter, Facebook. We'd love to hear from you.
Great. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me. I wish you the best of luck, and I am really looking forward to seeing the changes that's going to occur in the travel industry over the next few years.
Thank you, Naomi. It's been a pleasure.